Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Wasp versus Crossbones on Expert. So pull up a chair and let's see how her starter deck does against him. Okay, so we're all set up and ready to go. I've got my starting hand right here. Crossbones has his machine gun out because I am playing Expert, so he starts on side 2 with 14 hit points. Got the 2 counters on here for his machine gun from when it discards. I have the Power Gauntlets. This was the experimental weapon that came out for the Wind Revealed effect for attack on Mount Athena. And it is the Power Gauntlets, in case you don't know. After the attached villain attacks and damages you, discard 1 card from your hand. And so I can spend a mental and physical resource to get rid of that, and I probably will, because I don't want to have to be discarding cards and losing resources and just cards out of my hand. So let's go ahead and start. And I'm going to do my mulligan. I've got 2 boot camps and they cost 3, and I'd like to get Spider-Man in, so I don't think I'm going to put those in. I'm going to discard those. And then Pinpoint Strike is a good power. It's a great power, but I want to kind of set up, like I said, right now, and see if I can try to set up some with an ally or whatever. So this can come in handy, I think, later in the game. But I'm going to discard it, and you'll see another reason why I'm discarding it here in a minute. So I've got 3 cards. Let's draw back up to her hand size of 3. We got Giant Help for 1, Lion Weight for 2, and then Ironheart back in. Okay, so we have 6 cards now. And then her ability, GIRL, which, girl, shuffle up to 2 cards with a printed mental resource from your discard pile into your deck, limit once per round. And so one of the reasons why I put the Pinpoint Strike, which is 7 damage, but in tiny form, it's an additional damage with Overkill. One of the reasons why I discarded it is because it is a card I would like to use a little bit later in the game for big damage, and it has a mental resource, so I can shuffle it back in. So I'm going to shuffle this and one of the boot camps back into my deck. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, so I have shuffled those 2 cards back into my deck, and I think the first thing I want to do is I'm going to flip to the giant side for Wasp. And when I get the hero side, I do want to get rid of this Power Gauntlet. I need a mental and physical resource. I want to get an ally in. I can only get one of them in this turn if I do that. So I'll just use Ironheart's mental resource and then surprise attack for the 2 the resources I need to get rid of this Power Gauntlet. That'll go in his discard pile, so now I don't have to discard cards when he attacks and damages me. And then I'm going to put in Spider-Man Miles Morales here with the rest of my resources. And when he comes in, after you play him from your hand, you choose Thwart or Attack, and he gets +2 to the chosen power until the end of the phase. And I'm going to choose +2 Attack, and I'm going to attack Crossbones for 4 with him, and then 2 more with Wasp, so that's 6, dropping him down already to 8, 14 down to 8. And one of the reasons why I went into the Giant Wasp form is I'm probably going to defend against the attack here in a minute, but we'll see. But I'm going to ready, and in Giant Wasp form, she gets to draw to 5, so I'll do that. All right, so start of the main phase, put 1 threat on the Scheme. It's 1 out of 3 now. And then he's going to attack. So this, it's a forced interrupt, his machine gun. So this goes off before the attack does. Now I am going to defend with Wasp. So I'm going to discard one of these tokens, and the boost icons, there are no boost icons, so he doesn't do any damage. So that's good, not from the machine gun anyway. He does attack for 2. I'm going to defend with Wasp, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm glad I did that. 5 minus 3 is 2, so she'll drop from 11 to 9. And then the encounter card will be Hydra Sidearm. So it's going to attach the villain. When attach villain attacks, the attack gains ranged, which ranged means that if you attack with a ranged attack, the person, you don't get the retaliate damage. If they have retaliate, you wouldn't take that damage. And I don't have anything that does retaliate right now. So that's not going to hurt too bad, except that it does give a +1 attack to him. So I need a mental and physical resource to get rid of it if I want to get rid of it. But I am back to Wasp. Okay, and I think I do want to get rid of this sidearm so he doesn't have the +1 attack, because there are some nasty cards in Crossbones' deck for that kind of play off the amount of attack he has. So I'm going to spend the mental from Boot Camp and the physical from Surprise Attack to get rid of that. And they're going to put in her helmet using energy, the 2 resources from energy. So that gives her +1 thwart when she's in giant and +1 attack when she's in tiny. But I'm going to just stay as the giant form of Wasp. And Spider-Man Miles Morales will use his 1 thwart to take the thwart off of the threat off of the main scheme. I'm going to hold on to Pin Particles, ready, and draw to 5. All right, start of the main phase. Put 1 threat up here on the scheme. And I'm not going to defend this time. Actually, I am going to defend with Spider-Man. And so we'll discard a token. And the boost is going to be 1. So I'm going to have her take that damage. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about indirect damage. The FAQ says that it words it like you must spread it out among your characters. But from what I understand, it was only 1 damage, but if it would have been 2 damage, I still could have put both points of damage on Wasp, and instead of having to put 1 on Wasp and 1 on Spider-Man. And, you know, that does seem confusing, but like I said, from what I understand with indirect damage, you could put all of it. You basically put, if it was 2 damage, I could put 2 on Wasp and 0 on Spider-Man, spread it out that way. You know, but I know that it seems like there's a bit of discussion about that, but it isn't going to make a big deal this time because it was only 1 point of damage. I can only put it on 1 person. I put it on Wasp, so Machine Gun goes away because it has uses, and once all the uses are gone on a card, you get rid of it. All right, so he'll go with his attack. It's an attack of 2, 3, and that's going to knock Spider-Man Miles Morales out of the game. And the encounter card is Assault, so he's going to get to attack, and I'll just have her take it for 2, 3, 4 damage, dropping her from 8 back down to 4. And we are back to Wasp. All right, I'm going to put in Ant-Man this time with the 4 resources I have. And one of them I'm spending is Pin Particles. And when you spend this card while she's in giant form, she can heal 2 damage. So I will, back from 4 back up to 6. Ant-Man's going to come in, and when Wasp is in giant form, he gets +1 attack, so he'll have 3 attack. So I'll attack for 3 with him to drop Crossbones down to 5. All right, and then for Wasp, I'm going to go ahead and attack with her for 2 to drop him down to 3. And I could use some healing, and I would like to get my Pinpoint Strike that I used as a resource back into my deck. So I think I'm going to go ahead and flip to Nadia, to her alter ego size. She's exhausted because I just attacked for 2, and I'm gonna shuffle in 2 mental resources. I'm going to shuffle in Pinpoint Strike, and let's see what else we got here. And Giant Help, I think. I'm going to shuffle those 2 back into my deck, and then I'll ready and draw up to 6. Okay, so we are back to his turn. 1 threat on the main scheme, bringing it to 2 out of 3. He's going to scheme for 2, 3, 4, and that will be enough to move this to stage 2. And there's nothing on stage 2A, so we'll flip to stage 2B, which says reveal the top card of the experimental weapon deck. And it's going to be Exosuit. So it's going to give him +1 scheme and +1 attack. And that's really all it does. And I have to spend a mental, physical, and energy resource to get rid of it. Okay, so he has schemed. And so now the encounter card will be Hydra Flame Soldier. And after Hydra Flame Soldier makes an undefended attack against you, discard a support you control, which she doesn't have any out right now. So that's not a big deal. But he comes in with 4. And we're back to Nadia. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do on this side is put lie in wait into the game. And I'm going to use Wasp for that. And one reason is because I only have one card that can give me an energy resource to give her any kind of health at all, because it's an interrupt. When Wasp enters play, place one pin counter on her for each energy resource you overpaid for Wasp cost. So I would only be able to put her in with one, with one health as it is. And the other reason why I want to use her is because I'm going to use Nadia's ability to shuffle her and Ironheart, who both have mental resources, and I'm going to shuffle them back into her deck so maybe they can come out a little bit later and help me a little bit later, because right now I think I'm good with Ant-Man and with some of the other cards I have. So let me shuffle this deck. All right, so I've shuffled Ironheart and Wasp, Janet Van Dyne back into the deck. I'm going to flip Nadia. Well, first of all, I'm going to heal for 3, back up to 9. And then I'm going to flip Nadia to her tiny side. Now on this side, it's a response. After Wasp defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. So that's going to come in just a second here, because I'm going to use Pinpoint Strike. It's deal 7 damage to an enemy. If you are in tiny hero form, this attack deals 1 additional damage to that enemy and gains overkill. I am in tiny hero form, and I'm going to use this to attack for 8, 4 on the Hydra Flame Soldier. Now, from what I understand, this is a response. So as soon as I defeat him, my guess is I go ahead and deal the damage to the villain, which would drop him to 2. Because again, I defeated that minion, and so her ability fires off. It's a response. And then the 4 overkill damage will go and take him to 0. I think that's how that works. If I'm wrong, let me know. But it really doesn't matter in this scenario, because it's going to flip him no matter what to a side 3. And when that's revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. And it is a laser rifle, gives him a +1 attack. So now he has a 5 attack. And I have to spend an energy and physical resource to get rid of that. And it's a force interrupt. When attached villain attacks, the attack gains ranged. And so we already talked about what range does. So we have that. Can't get rid of it because I don't have any resources. But I do have Ant-Man. He's in his Ant-Man form. First of all, Crossbones comes back in with 16 health on a side 3. But I'm about to take 2 of that away with Ant-Man. He's going to attack for 2 and drop him to 14. And that will be it. So I will ready Wasp and Ant-Man and then draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main villain phase. And by the way, when this came in, last time I should have put 1 on there. I didn't do it right away, but I did fix it. It has 1, so now it's going to go up to 2 out of 6. He's going to attack for 3, 4, 5. And I don't want Ant-Man to leave just yet, so I'm going to have Wasp defend this. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus 2 is 5, so she'll go from 9 to 4. And then the encounter card will be Legions of Hydra. Okay, so if Madam Hydra is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Madam Hydra and put her into play, engaged view, then shuffle the encounter deck. Place 2 additional threat here for each Hydra enemy. So let me go get Madam Hydra. Okay, so I found Madam Hydra, shuffled the encounter deck back up. Here she is with 6. Yes, I do have lie in wait that I could use, but Madam Hydra can't take damage while the Legions of Hydra side scheme is in play, so there's no reason to use that on her. And this comes in with a base of 3 plus 2 for every Hydra minion, so it's going to come in with 5. And that's going to do it for his turn. She came in during the encounter phase, the encounter draw phase, so she won't attack. So we are back to Wasp. All right, I think the first thing I'm going to do is use Swarm Tactics. I've got Ant-Man in play, so I can do that. He has to be in play, and if he is, I can change to my other hero form and ready my hero. I'm going to play that and use Into the Fray for that, to pay for that. So that's going to flip her to her giant wasp side and ready her. And then when I get to this side, let me move some stuff around here so I can See what I'm doing? When she gets to that side, I'm going to thwart for 2, plus 1 from the helmet is 3. Because when I'm in giant form, I get plus 1 thwart, so I'm going to take 3 off of the side scheme. And that's going to drop it down to 2. And then I'm going to use giant help, remove 3 threat from a scheme, remove a total of 4 threat divided among schemes as you choose instead if you are in giant hero form. So I'm going to use Wasp, Sting, and the Power of Aggression to pay for that. So I can remove 4 threat among schemes as I choose. So I'm going to remove 2 from here, which will get rid of this. And then I'm going to remove 2 from here. We'll drop it back down to nothing. And I'm going to hold on to Ant-Man. I'm not going to do anything with him right now. I do still have my 1 free flip with Wasp because I used the team up card, Swarm Tactics, to put her into this. So I'm going to have her flip down to Nadia. And when she gets into that form, I'm going to put a couple of mental resources back in to her deck. Let me figure out what I want to do there. All right, I think I'm going to put Pinpoint Strike back in and Giant Help back in, threat removal and some attack. So let me shuffle that back into her deck. And then once I shuffle this in, I'll ready and draw her up to 6. Okay, so we are at the start of the main villain phase. 1 threat up here on the Infinity Stone. And then he's going to scheme for 3, 4, 5, and that's going to move this to the stage 3. And it's going to come in with 1 threat on it. Okay, and then we want to reveal the top card of the Experimental Weapons deck, which will be the one that gives him Retaliate 1. Okay, so it's the Energy Shield. And then she'll scheme for 2, so it's going to bring it up to 3 out of 5. And let's hope that this is not a advance, because if it is, I lose. Nope, it's a Flame Soldier. That's good. I knew there was a chance that I knew I was taking a chance there, flipping her back down to Alter Ego, but she only had 4 hit points. I felt like I needed to do it, but we're okay. So he comes in with 4 health, and we are back to Nadia. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Thor, Jane Foster. Oh, by the way, I have Lion Weight. So I'm going to use, before I come back, I'm going to use Lion Weight to deal 3 damage to a minion that just came in. And so he's going to come down to 1. And now we're going to put in Thor with Strength and Genius for the 4 resources I need. And after you play Thor from your hand, deal 2 damage to the villain, 3 instead if you paid for the card using a physical resource. And I did. I used Strength. So she's going to deal 3 damage to Crossbones, dropping him down to 11. And then I'm going to shuffle a couple of cards back in using her ability. One of them is going to be Genius. And the other one's going to be Wasp Sting, I think, which just basically can do some damage. In giant form, 4 damage. In tiny form, 5 damage, basically. So I'm going to shuffle those 2 back into her deck. And by the way, Thor comes in with 4 hit points. I'm going to have her attack for 2 to go ahead and get rid of this Hydra Flame Soldier, I think, so that he don't mess with us. And I do have to worry about Madam Hydra, but the biggest thing is with 11 hit points and with 3 on the scheme, I need to try to focus on Crossbone the best I can. But I'm going to have her heal for 3, back up to 7. Okay, and then I'm going to flip her to her tiny side. And then, because when I get to that, Ant-Man can thwart, gets +1 thwart, and when she's in tiny. So he's going to thwart for 3 off the main scheme here to get a little bit of breathing room. And that's going to knock him out of the game. And then I'm going to use Into the Fray and the Power in All of Us for mental. And this is a mental and this is an energy to get rid of. Oh, actually, I'm going to do that before Thor attacks. Oh, well, she took out the minion, so no one has attacked Crossbones. But I want to get rid of this so he doesn't have his Retaliate 1. So we're going to do that. Hold on to Rapid Growth. I'm going to ready and draw to 5. All right, so one threat on the main scheme at the start of the villain phase. He's going to attack for 3, 4, 5, and I think I'll just have Thor take this. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's going to knock her out of the game. Madam Hydra will attack for 2 onto Wasp, dropping her from 7 down to 5. And then the encounter card will be Shadow of the Past. So let me get all that out. All right, and so we have Beetle that comes into play, and she has guard, which is unfortunate because I think I had a chance to win. If I went ahead of minion come in with guard, her side scheme comes in with 2, and as an additional cost for each hero to make a basic attack, that hero must spend 1 of any resource. So I'll come in with 2 threat, and then I shuffled in the other cards, and we are back to Wasp. All right, a little bit of a predicament here. But I think the best thing to do right now is to put in Wasp Janet Van Dyne into play. And I'm going to need to give her a couple of hit points. So this is going to be an energy resource for 1. Actually, that's 1, 2. This will be 2 because she is an aggression card. So double the number of resources this card generates when paying for an aggression. So that should be 2 energy. I think that's right. And I'm going to go ahead and spend Rapid Growth for a 3rd. So that she can just have 3 hit points. She'll come in and attack for 3. On to Beetle to drop her down from 4 to 1. And then I am going to use Wasp to attack, but with this in play, I have to spend a resource to be able to use my basic attack. So I'll spend one of these pinpoint strikes, and that's going to be enough to defeat Beetle. And when she's in tiny form, when I defeat a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. So that's going to drop him from 11 to 10. And that is all I can do. I'm going to ready, and I'm going to try to stay in Wasp form. Hopefully I can survive this because I think I can win with pinpoint strike on my next turn. We'll see, but I'm going to ready and draw to 5. All right, so start of the main phase. We'll put 1 threat on the scheme. It goes from up to 2 out of 5. And this doesn't put anything else on there. He's going to attack. I'm going to have Wasp take this. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, she'll have to take 2 from Madam Hydra. And I think, yep, I'm going to have to just take it. Drop her to 3. And then the encounter card is a Hydra Flame Soldier. Good. So it's not an attack. He doesn't do anything right now. It just comes in with 4 hit points. He doesn't have guard. She doesn't have guard. And that's good news because it is Wasp's turn. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay in tiny form. And I'm going to use Pinpoint Strike. Spending Ironheart, Giant Help, and Red Room Training. Doesn't really matter for 3. It's 7 damage. I'm in tiny, so I can add 1. But I'm going to put all 8 damage onto Crossbones, and I can do that. I think. Let me make sure. It's been about a month and a half since I've played Marvel Champions. Well, I played a practice game with Wasp the other day, and that was the first game in about a month and a half. So I'm a little rusty and making sure I don't make any mistakes. But these don't have anything to keep him from getting attacked. This doesn't either. No guard. So he'll go from 10 to 2. And then I get +1 attack in tiny form. And so as an additional cost for hero to make a basic attack, I have to spend 1 of any resource. I'll spend surprise attack to do that. Attack for 2 on to Crossbones. And that's going to drop him to 0, and she pulls it off. Well, that was scary. I got lucky there with the draw of the Hydra Flame Soldier there. On the last draw, it wasn't an advance because that would have probably beat me. It wasn't an assault because that probably would have. Gang Up was the boost card, but if that would have come out, I would have definitely lost because he would have got to attack and she would have got to attack again. But it didn't happen. I got lucky on the draws and the encounter deck, and she was able to pull it off. And one of the things I've noticed about Wasp that I like so far is that if you can get her into Nadia and shuffle those 2 mental resources back into your deck doesn't run out. This is my second game. Now I am playing Crossbones. He doesn't, it could be because I'm playing him. But this is my second game against Crossbones with her starter deck. And I have not yet run out of her deck. I've never gone through her entire deck. Usually with a hero, I go all the way through and have to deal myself the encounter card and shuffle back up. But I haven't done that. And so you can get cards back in that you like, and it keeps you from having to get that encounter card. At least it has for me. Well, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you did, please consider to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell because I'm going to have some more Marvel Champions videos coming out in the future, as well as videos for other games that I have and I want to do some playthroughs for. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And until next time, I'll save you a seat at the table. Bye.